Hey guys, what's up? I'm headed to Barnes & Noble right now. Pick a really good book. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I really wanted to talk about the book because it really ties in with today's topic, which is going to be about adaptability and the extremes. So, Robert Kiyosaki, he's a very successful man. He's a motivational speaker. He's made a lot of money in his day. And he wrote this book, I think 1990s, I'm not too sure. And the book was called Rich Dad, Poor Dad because Robert had a rich role model and a poor role model, a rich dad and a poor dad. And his poor dad was a school teacher. And so he taught Robert to go to school, educate himself to get a job, and to get a job to get money. Basically, he taught his son to work for money. And that's just the school of thought that he was brought up in. And that's Robert, and that's Kiyosaki's definition of a poor man. Because that's the mindset that is, and that's not a bad thing, that's just their mindset. And so his rich father was an entrepreneur, very successful man himself, and what Robert's rich father said is, why would you work for money? Don't do that, don't work for money. He said, you're trading money for time. Don't trade money for time. And so what you should do instead work for assets, right? Work for assets which give you money over time. And it doesn't really make any sense to trade money for time, because time is a resource that you won't lose. And so the benefit to this is that Robert grew up with two different environments. And we can all say that we're a product of our environment. We grew up in our environment, and so we were a product of what schools we went to, how our parents nurtured us, everything along those lines. We're a product of our environment. And so Robert grew up with two different environments. His rich dad's point of view and his poor dad's point of view. And so what this gives us is it allows us to understand the importance of broadening our horizons. Because if you're a product of your environment, as we've said many times before, then you're going to have the same perspectives, basically. And so if you are born in a yin perspective, you won't understand the yang. And so in order to be in balance between these two extremes, you have to understand both sides, right? You have to understand the yin and the yang to be a balance between the two. So that's what our topic is today, how the extremes helps become more adaptable. Because the more balanced you are, the better you understand both extremes. And once you understand both extremes, both perspectives, you become more adaptable to both, right? You're not limited to seeing the world through one lens, right? That lens is our lens of adaptability. So what I'm getting to with all this is the purpose of humanity is, or according to Darwin, the purpose of life is to adapt and live long enough and find entropy long enough to reproduce, right? So you're more successful at adapting if you have broadened your horizons. So the best way to broaden your horizons is to broaden the extremes in which you have been brought up in. So broadening those extremes is important when you're growing up. And you need to understand both perspectives, because there's merit to both. There's merit to the poor poor dad because the poor dad talks about how education is important, and there's merit to the rich dad because he talks about how there is merit to time, and you don't want to trade money for time, right? You don't want to work for money. And so it's really important to understand that you have to see through both perspectives to actually become more adaptable. So that's about all I have to talk about today. Sorry I haven't been too consistent with the videos lately. I'll have quite a few posted today to make up for it. We're just talking about extremes and entropy this week. And yeah, if you like this video, go ahead and give me a like. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. Follow me on Twitter and Google+. And alright, we'll see you guys sometime soon.